Holy shit. He said what?
Breaking right now, Thomas Markle Jr., the sister of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, has lashed out at his sister and her husband Prince Harry in the most brutal interview he has ever given.
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up, because it's one of my favorites.
It's really a little bit disturbing, saying that, she doesn't have a family, she doesn't have a father, and then Harry saying that she has no father now. That's just ridiculous.
I think she's taking advantage of a very weakened man and getting him to say things that you just shouldn't be saying on television.
Meghan Markle is always attempting to, shall we say, build relationships with very, very, very rich men.
Royal family, you should be so thankful this woman wanted to leave, because she's not going to bring any good to the branding of royal. She's going to downgrade it to a level of ghetto. And that's what it is. This is just bad.
August 4th, 40 years ago, Meghan was born, and she was born as a C-section, so she was put in my arm. I was the first person to hold her. Her little hand went around my fingers like that, and I fell in love with her, and I've been that way for 40 years.
Okay. Am I there?
And I really do miss her.
I hope you're having the best birthday you've ever had. Thank you for everything.
Do you still love your daughter?
Of course I do. I love my children. I love my other daughter. I love my son. Of course I will.
After years of rumors and silence, Meghan Markle's estranged brother, Thomas Markle Jr., is finally speaking out, and what he's revealing is absolutely explosive. According to Thomas, behind all the royal headlines, there's actually a heartbreaking family story that the public has never seen.
Doesn't know us. It's just very bizarre how she just basically brushed the entire family under the carpet like we don't exist, and then lied about not having a family, and lied about she doesn't have a family that she's always wanted. We've always been here.
He remembers a time, shown in old home videos that are now lost, when Meghan and their father shared a truly warm and genuine bond. Thomas says that happy past looks nothing like how Meghan acts toward their father today.
Any proud parent, his home is littered with photos of his beloved children.
For the longest time, she wanted to be a dancer.
Each image is a heartbreaking reminder of happier times.
Thomas calls Meghan's actions nothing less than betrayal. But before he shares more about those lost home videos and how the family fell apart, he delivers his harshest opinion yet. He says he doesn't just think Meghan changed Prince Harry, he actually believes she ruined him.
I think your sister, Meghan Markle, has ruined Prince Harry.
The answer is yes. Every single interview, every single picture, every place they go, Meghan grabs him. Meghan controls him. Meghan tells him no. Meghan stands in front of him. She controls every single situation like she is the star. And she's turned Prince Harry into a man of non-substance, for her own well-being.
So what does Thomas say Meghan has really done to Prince Harry? Let's break it down. Thomas doesn't hold back at all. He claims you don't need any secret info to see what's happened to Harry. Just look at his face. In Thomas's words, Harry now looks like a ghost of his old self. And for Thomas, that change isn't just by chance. He says it's all because of Meghan's influence.
I believe Meghan is driving this whole caravan for him. He is so stressed out. You can see it in his face. Despair. He's confused. He thinks he's going to get in trouble if he doesn't say exactly what Meghan says. Very sad to watch.
But that's just the beginning. Thomas says Meghan's polished public image, graceful, compassionate, and relatable, is really just a mask. Behind that, he claims, is someone much more calculating. In his words, Meghan is actually a bully. He believes it all comes from deep-rooted narcissism, saying she always has to be the star of every story. According to Thomas, Meghan doesn't need anyone's applause because in her mind, she is the whole show.
It's incredibly hurtful. I also have always had sympathy with your father because I felt that he was thrown to the wolves. He tried to do the right thing, he came unstuck, and they just disowned him.
Thomas says that when you live with that kind of mindset, accountability is impossible. Nothing ever sticks. In his eyes, Meghan doesn't need fan clubs because she's already her own biggest cheerleader. But Thomas goes even further. He claims that her entire self-made underdog story is built on shaky ground lies, to be exact, especially the rags to riches story that the world has heard so many times.
Actually, it was because of Meghan that it was taken away. Meghan could have had it there if she wanted to have it there. Instead, she wanted to have a bunch of celebrities she barely knew, from the Clooneys to the Beckhams to Elton John to James Gordon to Timbuktu. It looked like anyone she'd met on the party circuit in the previous 2 years got the invite.
But it raises a big question. What's really driving all this outrage? According to Thomas, it goes way deeper than just family drama. He claims Meghan isn't just rewriting her own past, she's chasing a future that was never meant for her. In Thomas's eyes, Meghan wants to be the next Princess Diana. And that obsession, he says it's turned into a dangerous fixation on Catherine, the Princess of Wales, the one woman the public truly sees as royalty.
Knew Meghan for a bit before she met Harry. She did exactly the same to me, you know. She did that to many people that she knew, that she'd either worked with or was friends with or whatever. It just seems to me she's what I would call a ruthless social climber, who just when people are no longer appropriate parts of her circle, they have to be expunged quickly so she can move on up the ladder.
Absolutely.
Thomas claims Meghan's jealousy, combined with what he calls extreme narcissism, creates a never-ending cycle, a constant stream of self-made drama. In his view, Meghan always plays the victim, creates the crisis, and then blames everyone else. If Thomas is right, it's not just about chasing fame, it's about trying to rewrite the throne in her own image. And according to him, the drama didn't end with their family. It only escalated once Meghan entered the royal spotlight.
He thinks the biggest mistake that Harry and Meghan have made.
Leaving the royals, because that was what she married into. That was explained to her. The people of England loved her and loved Harry. And I mean, they were the stars. Everybody loved them in England.
Thomas says that's when the real damage started. And the first casualty? Prince Harry. He describes their relationship as a power dynamic that isn't just off balance, it's orchestrated by Meghan. According to Thomas, Meghan controls every single public appearance, managing even the smallest details to guarantee she remains at the center. In his words, this isn't a genuine marriage, it's a carefully staged production, with Meghan always cast as the star and Harry reduced to a supporting role, who barely gets to speak.
I think it was a desperate plea because they've made their bed for the last 6 years and now they're sleeping on them, and the entire world knows exactly what's happening with those two.
It's downright alarming. Thomas says what the world is witnessing isn't just a royal love story gone wrong, it's a transformation that's erased the old Harry. Once known for his charisma, confidence, and independence, he's now, according to both Thomas Jr. and their father, almost unrecognizable. They claim Meghan's need for control has reduced Harry to a supporting role in his own life. And here's the twist. It's not just family drama. According to the Markles, friends and royal insiders see it too. For them, it's not only heartbreaking, it's a warning. If the real Harry can vanish, what hope does anyone else have of holding on to their true self around Meghan Markle?
Any advice for Harry?
Yeah, stop talking about the royals. Stop giving away all the secrets about the royals. And, love your children and love your wife, but also love your grandmother and love your father.
Absolutely. Thomas Jr. says it's the ultimate tragedy. Meghan had every opportunity, a seat at the royal table, a global platform, a chance to make history in a positive way. But instead, he claims, she set fire to the very connections that got her there. In his view, what's left is a trail of burned bridges and deep scars, not just for the royal family, but for her own. Those lost home videos? Thomas insists they're proof of a different Meghan, a daughter who cared, who had fun, who wasn't always caught up in drama. Now, he says, she's so far from that person, it's hard for anyone in the family to recognize her. And the price? A shattered family dynamic and a prince who, according to Thomas, is now just a shadow of the man he used to be.
Well, that's her first wedding in Jamaica. That's one of my favorite pictures. I'd like to have that experience with my granddaughter.
If you could get just one message across to your daughter now, what would it be?
As always, I do love you, and I wish we could sit down and talk about it. I'm not an ogre. I'd love to talk to her.
Thomas Jr. says if you really want to understand just how deep the rift goes, you need to look at what happened at the very top, Meghan's relationship with Queen Elizabeth. According to Thomas, from day one, Meghan was never interested in fitting in. He claims she had her own agenda, and that included allegedly ignoring traditions and even snubbing the Queen's guidance. But the most dramatic part of Thomas's story is what he calls a final confrontation, behind closed doors at the palace. He says this moment wasn't just a family argument, it was the last straw, the event that really pushed Meghan and Harry out of the UK for good. Not the media, not the paparazzi, but a full-on fallout with the Queen herself. Thomas insists this wasn't some one-off mistake. In his words, it was a playbook Meghan had already used with her own family: challenge authority, create chaos, and when things don't go her way, walk out and blame everyone else. If true, he says, it's not just a family feud, it's a strategy.
Now, like I said, Meghan did it to me, and now Harry's doing it to his father. That's a cold thing to do. And it's even more cold to do it to the Queen, who's in her 90s. None of this makes sense.
He claims Meghan has gone beyond just distancing herself. She's wiped her family out of the story altogether. According to Thomas Jr., it's like the Markles don't even exist in her world anymore. All the childhood memories, the family photos, the years of support, it's as if they've been cut out of the script entirely. For Samantha, that silence stings. She remembers the days when Meghan leaned on their father for guidance when family meant everything. Now, she says, it feels like none of that mattered. The way both siblings tell it, the pain isn't just about being left out of the royal headlines, it's about being forgotten by the person they once called family.
You made any attempt to contact your father since he had his stroke?
None whatsoever. And, I totally agree with you on the fact that none of us were ever coached or given any help with the paparazzi or press since the very beginning, which has caused a lot of problems. Nobody reached out. I actually reached out.
He says that being left out of Meghan's royal wedding wasn't just disappointing, it was devastating. For the Markles, it wasn't about money or status. According to Thomas, they simply wanted to share in a milestone that should have brought everyone together. Instead, they watched from afar, learning about Meghan's new life through headlines and news clips. Thomas describes it as a clear message: if you don't fit Meghan's version of her story, you're out. He recalls sending messages and reaching out to Meghan, hoping for any response. But he claims he was met with nothing but silence, a silence he believes was intentional. For him, the wedding became the ultimate symbol of what he calls Meghan's clean slate approach. She didn't just start a new chapter, she closed the book on her family. And that, he says, is what hurts the most.
My congratulations to Meghan and to Harry.
Harry and Meghan say they plan to call her Lily.
Lily is a perfect name. And the other thing that makes me happy is there's now about a lot more Markle blood in the royal family.
Thomas Jr. says he's seen this pattern before, first with her own family. And now, he warns, it's playing out with Harry. He claims Meghan is focused on building her own legacy, and that everything in her orbit, including her marriage, is part of that plan. The moment Harry's title or connection to the crown stops benefiting her image or ambitions, Thomas predicts she'll walk away just as decisively as she did from her relatives. He points to what he describes as a cold strategy behind Meghan's relationships. If you're useful to the narrative, you stay; if not, you're gone. For Thomas, the warning is clear: if Meghan could shut out her own blood, nothing is stopping her from shutting out Harry too. He says that's why he'll never try to reach out again. In his view, Meghan's path is set, and those who don't fit are left behind.
He just can't give her anything else anymore. He served his purpose. His purpose is over, and they're no longer aligned in purpose. So for her, it's time to move on.
She's already gotten the benefit of her bargain with Harry because she got the title. That's what she wanted. She wanted to be world famous. She wanted the title. You remember when Harry was single, he was the elephant. He was the one, the most eligible bachelor on earth. You could be a royal. You could become world famous overnight. You could live in a castle. You could have access to the crown jewels. You would be a princess. My God. Yes, he could have had his pick.
Thomas Jr. insists the family has learned the hard way. Every public gesture from Meghan, he claims, comes with an angle. He believes if she ever shows up at her father's door, it'll be because her brand is in crisis, not because she's seeking forgiveness or wanting to rebuild real family ties. It's not about heart, it's about headlines, he says. And that's why, he adds, there's no trust left. According to Thomas, what once looked like a genuine family bond has turned into a series of strategic decisions, all meant to support Meghan's image in the public eye. He's convinced the days of genuine connection are over, and if reconciliation ever happens, it'll be for cameras, not for closure.
How can she sit there saying, I so love my family, my family love me, and ruthlessly cut you, Tom Sr. and Samantha out of her life?
That Meghan Markle really did expect Harry to be a billionaire when she met him. She was incredibly disappointed to find out he's only worth a couple million, and she's gonna have to actually work and hawk these jams and jellies and dog biscuits to have the lifestyle that she wants.
He argues that every photo op, every carefully staged interview, and every mention of the children is designed for maximum impact, not to share family moments, but to control the narrative. According to Thomas, Archie and Lilibet have become part of a bigger strategy, tools to shield Meghan from criticism and to strengthen her public image when headlines turn negative. It's a serious accusation, and not everyone will agree. But Thomas stands firm. He claims the children's privacy and even their identities are caught up in a larger, never-ending PR war. For him, it's not just about family drama anymore. It's about the lengths he believes Meghan will go to shape the story and keep control, no matter who gets hurt in the process.
I mean, that moment when Prince Harry, who'd never met your father, says that Meghan has no father, what did you think of that?
I think it's horrible. The documentary is so far off on so many different levels.
He says the emptiness left behind is louder than any headline. What once was a family filled with laughter and shared moments is now just a memory, replaced by unanswered messages and closed doors. For Thomas Sr., it's not just about being ignored. It's about watching his daughter and her family become strangers, all while the world sees a picture-perfect story. That deep sense of loss, he says, can't be filled by royal titles, big houses, or public applause. It's a pain that lingers in every family member left behind, wondering what changed and whether things will ever go back to how they were. And as more details come out, the divide seems wider than ever, proof that all the fame and fortune in the world can't heal a broken bond.
To say I'm hoping it doesn't go on forever. Right now I'm talking to Meghan and Harry. I love you guys. We can work out the problems. I don't think there's any problems that can't be worked out. And I've said I'm sorry about the initial problem. If I've said anything today that offended anyone, I'm sorry about that too. But I'm just telling the truth and how I feel about what's going on.
He describes it as a lifelong sentence. Watching from afar as your daughter celebrates milestones, raises her own children, and lives a life you're not allowed to share. Thomas Sr. doesn't point fingers or shout for attention. Instead, he quietly owns up to his mistakes, saying if he could go back, he'd do things differently. But that's the tragedy, you don't get do-overs. He says the hardest part isn't the headlines or the distance. It's waking up every day to a quiet house, knowing you're missing out on moments you can never get back. Birthdays, hugs, the sound of grandchildren playing. In his words, the silence is a harsher punishment than anything the law could hand out. Because in the end, the real cost of regret is living with the emptiness left behind.
If I had done something terribly wrong, that would be fine, but I haven't. So I just want an answer. I don't like to say it, but I gotta say it. I don't know of anybody that cold to do this. I'll be very disappointed that I don't get to hold my granddaughter.
Does it hurt?
Of course it hurts. There are axe murderers in prison. Their family comes to see them, right? I mean, I'm not an axe murderer.
He says that, despite everything, every headline, every painful silence, every birthday missed, he still wakes up hoping for a miracle. Just one moment to see his daughter, to meet his grandchildren, to hear Meghan's voice not on TV, but at his door. That hope is what keeps him going, even as he admits it grows fainter with every year. And that's the real heartbreak. While the world debates royal drama, Thomas Markle Sr. quietly carries the weight of a family lost. For all the talk of healing and forgiveness, he says, the one thing he wants most, a second chance with his daughter, remains just out of reach.
I made one dumb mistake, and I'm never being forgiven for it. And this show that they're on, they talk about compassion. There's no compassion for me. There's no compassion for my family. And there's no compassion for the royals.
Instead, Thomas Sr. remembers only tension, nerves, and unfinished words. He says it was a rushed goodbye, not a reconciliation, a conversation clouded by pressure, press scandals, and the looming spectacle of the royal wedding. There was no warmth, no closure, just a hurried exchange, and then silence. Since that day, the phone has never rung again. The only updates he gets now come from tabloids and TV specials, watching his daughter's life unfold at a distance. For Thomas Sr., that silence isn't just absence, it's agony. He's left clinging to memories, wondering if that brief, strained call was the last time he'll ever hear Meghan's voice again. And that unanswered question, does she still care, haunts him every single day.
Have you tempted to just drive up to California, turn up on their doorstep and knock on the door?
I'd never do that. That makes me a stalker. I'm not a stalker. She knows where I live. Harry's invited to come down anytime he wants by himself, or Meghan's invited to come down anytime she wants by herself or with Harry. I would love that. Father's Day is coming up. That really hurts when Father's Day comes up.
He describes the pain as worse than any illness, watching milestone after milestone pass with no word from Meghan. Birthdays, holidays, hospital stays, and even moments when he needed support the most, met only with silence. For Thomas, it's not just the loss of a relationship, but the loss of hope. He admits he doesn't understand what he did to deserve this level of abandonment and says the hardest part isn't his own suffering, but the idea that forgiveness seems impossible. He ends his story with a quiet resignation. All he ever wanted was a chance to make things right, or at least hear his daughter's voice one last time. But for now, all that remains is silence.
These similarities in the way Harry has treated Charles and the way Meghan has treated you?
Yes, I see them both ghosting their families completely. Now basically now they're alone in a huge house that they could probably accommodate 20 people in, and it's just the four of them. But
he says that seeing King Charles step in was bittersweet, but it brought him comfort knowing Meghan wasn't alone on such an important day. Instead of jealousy or regret, Thomas Markle Sr. expresses gratitude that someone could be there for his daughter when he couldn't. He emphasizes that, if anything, he's thankful the royal family ensured Meghan had support walking down the aisle, even if it meant he had to watch from afar. What comes through is a genuine sense of humility. Thomas Sr. admits he'd trade anything to have been there himself, but he won't let pride or resentment get in the way of wishing Meghan the happiness he always wanted for her. Even now, he says, his door remains open, hoping for the chance to reconnect, even if just for a single conversation.
Some irony to the fact that Harry and Meghan are now living just a few hours up the road from you.
Right.
Yet they might as well be on a different planet in terms of the amount of contact that you're all having.
Exactly. I'm not a tearful type, but I keep everything in here. I don't really let it out but I'm certainly hurt by a lot of it.
He admits he's not perfect. No parent is, but insists his love has never wavered, even through all the pain and misunderstandings. Thomas Markle Sr. says if Meghan ever wanted help, support, or forgiveness, she would always have it, no questions asked. He's not interested in fueling the media drama or proving a point to the world. He just wants to remind his daughter that her family was never the enemy. With every interview, Thomas's quiet hope comes through that one day, Meghan will reach out and there will be a chance to heal, even if it's just a simple conversation. For now, he waits, just a short drive away, but separated by a gulf that only forgiveness can cross.
Meghan's been very open about her mental health struggle.
Yes.
Do you consider yourself partly to blame for her suffering?
Maybe to some percentage, but I was there at any time. She could have picked the phone and called me at any time. She has my phone number, so.
At the end of the day, Thomas Markle Sr. isn't looking for attention, money, or even a place in the royal story. He just wants a second chance at the simple things. Family dinners, laughter, maybe a hug from the grandkids he's only seen in photos. His hope is humble. One honest conversation, one moment to reconnect before it's too late. Every time he speaks, his words are filled with that quiet longing, the hope that maybe Meghan will see past the headlines and remember the father who once watched her take her first steps. He's not blaming, not begging, just waiting, hoping, and holding on to the belief that, with forgiveness, even the deepest wounds can be healed. In the end, all he wants is peace and a little bit of family to share it with. That's the simple, heartbreaking wish that defines his story now.
Any younger, do you worry that you might never meet these two grandchildren?
July 18th, I'll be 77 years old. Most of the Markle men don't make it much past 80. So there's a good chance I might never see my grandchildren. I'm not looking for pity. I'm just saying that's a reality.
Those old home videos cut through the noise in a way nothing else can. There's Meghan, eyes shining, running up to her dad after a school play, clutching her little certificate, just wanting him to see her, to be proud. The laughter, the hugs, even the everyday moments, a birthday cake, a trip to the park, remind us how real their bond once was. It's the contrast that stings. Once, they were just a normal family, full of hopes and hugs and ordinary joy. Now, that warmth is gone, replaced by silence, headlines, and regret. The videos aren't just memories, they're a glimpse of everything that's been lost along the way. And maybe, for everyone watching on both sides of the story, that's the part that hurts the most. Underneath the fame, the conflict, and the royal drama, it's still just a story of a father, a daughter, and the distance that grew between them.
You sort of given up hope of a reconciliation with Harry and Meghan?
I'll never give up hope. I'll stay in the game. I mean, like I said, if I'm called or visited, they're welcome anytime they want to come down. I'm here.
Because yes, we can all agree, what her father did before.
It's the question at the center of every family falling out. Where's the line between self-protection and self-destruction? Meghan's supporters say she set healthy boundaries, doing what she needed to survive the whirlwind of royal life and relentless media attacks. But her critics and much of her family see something else. They see a daughter who, in chasing her own story, cut loose everyone who helped her write the first chapters. When you look at her father's decline, his public regret, and the memories captured in those old home videos, it's clear the cost has been high. One moment of betrayal can feel unforgivable, especially in the glare of global attention. But can it really erase decades of love, laughter, and support? That's what makes this so heartbreaking. There's no easy answer. Maybe Meghan needed space, maybe her family needed forgiveness, or maybe, as happens in so many families, the truth is messier than either side will ever admit. So where do you stand? Did Meghan draw the line she had to, or did she become the villain her family says she is? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This is Violet Buzz. Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories behind the headlines.
Think she still loves you?
I have no idea. I don't, like I said, I haven't spoken to her since I was laying in a hospital bed 2 days before they got married. That's the last conversation we had. That was it. I haven't spoken to her since.
Absolutely. This is one of those stories where everyone's perspective matters. So jump into the comments, let's keep the conversation going. Did Meghan cross a line, or is her family just fueling the drama? I want to hear your side. And if you found this breakdown eye-opening, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you're always first in line for the latest exposés and untold truths right here.